I'm Lawrence Francis, host of Interpreting Wine, welcoming you to a special episode released in the run-up to London Wine Fair 2023. As returning podcast media partner in 2023, this year London Wine Fair collaborated with Interpreting Wine to offer an exhibitor exclusive prize of an Interpreting Wine marketing package, which was won by the Wine Travel Awards. Today I welcome Oleksandra Hryhorieva, project lead at the Wine Travel Awards. Hearing first about Oleksandra's transition into wine in her native Ukraine, before discussing the pivot across into the Wine Travel Awards. We discuss the awards lifecycle in its second year, get an overview of categories and logic. We talk creating community around the awards, discuss the Wine Travel Awards judging committee, look ahead to the London Wine Fair 2023, as well as other in-person events this year, and we discuss the awards' big goals looking forward. Enjoy!
Hi, Lawrence.
Hey.
Thank you for your invitation. To tell you a little bit about myself, before embarking on the wine journey, I worked in communications, and the only thing that connected me to the industry of wine was probably the fact that I loved wine and preferred it to any other alcoholic drink. But I believe that here my proactiveness and curiosity brought me to where I am now. I was first to write to the Drinks Plus Communication Media Group, which is a Ukrainian media, a well-established and reputable one in the Eastern and Southern Europe. It has been operating since 1993, so they have over 30-year experience. So that's how I started. First, I was a freelance journalist there, and then I was offered a position of an English editor. And at the same time, we started to launch a new project, the Wine Travel Awards. So step by step, I took some responsibilities in the project and became the project lead of the Wine Travel Awards.
Okay, amazing. And again, I think it would be interesting to basically expand a little bit on who Drinks Plus are and you know what their kind of reach were, and maybe even a little bit about where they are and potentially were based.
This is a B2B magazine and media. Writing about wine and spirits, tourism, gastronomy as well. They used to publish a monthly magazine in Ukraine. And the market was more like Ukraine and post-Soviet countries because it used to be in Russian. But then, of course, in Ukraine, we have lots of things happening, despite, of course, the war. I mean, initially we had also the law, the language law that said that all media should be published in the state language, which is normal, of course. So they changed a little bit the concept and they started publishing in Ukrainian. But unfortunately, the war changed all the plans, and it was not hot question and issue when the war is in your country. Nobody basically needs the printed version of the magazine. So we moved to online and the digital version fully. And now it exists in both Ukrainian and English languages. From time to time, we do special releases and editions in the form of the real digital magazine. But on the daily basis, it's kind of a news portal, interviews. We do interviews, analytics, articles, and so on.
Amazing. Yeah. So as you say, it's very much, pivoted and kind of adapted and very much still going strong. And I think, again, I'll maybe remind some of my listeners as well. I actually, traveled to Kiev back in 2018 now. It's nearly 5 years ago, and did do a series interviewing kind of local chefs and local sommeliers, with that idea to kind of mix, I think, a little bit the travel, food, wine, and the culture, really, because I think that this is, for me, one of the things that really makes wine, as the kind of maybe the opening, as the kind of first step that you take. But it makes it so interesting for me because it then, I think, naturally leads to so many other areas, and you can't be drinking wine all the time. I think it's also just for your own sort of health. It's probably quite good to have those other interests, and that there are so many that are very closely related to wine, which I think is something that we're definitely going to talk about in terms of the Wine Travel Awards as well, which is going to be really exciting. So take us then inside a little bit that journey, because if I'm right in thinking, it sounds as though while there was a need, there was a push really to pivot, to adapt to the new situation in Ukraine. Maybe the Wine Travel Awards then maybe became more important and more focus came on that. Take us inside a little bit that journey and that development really in its lifespan.
Our team tries to be responsive and flexible, and of course we all remember the COVID times that hit harshly the wine tourism industry. So the Wine Travel Awards project was one of the responses to this crisis as well, because we wanted to support and promote those operators in different countries that struggled back at that time, and showcase them digitally. So that's why we created the nominations and categories that correspond to different businesses and personalities. We started taking interviews, publishing news about them. We prepared also the special edition of the catalog, the Wine Travel Awards Guide, that features all those places and experiences. So we kind of started to warm up the audience before coming back to the actual places and to tourism routine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure, I can, again, speak for myself. I think that was, 2020, 2021, that was a time when I was doing lots of virtual traveling. And I think having those materials to hand, I think it helped to kind of bridge the gap, didn't it, really, between where people were in their part of the world and those rural winemaking communities, which I think, is always important to keep those connections going.
And I think that we didn't expect ourselves that our project would become one more response to the current war in Ukraine, because we have lots of wineries that were destroyed, or the wine cellars that were ruined, or wine bottles that were stolen, and lots of things happening at the moment. So thanks to the project, we could support Ukrainian wineries and get them involved in the project, showcase wines at the international platforms, world's leading exhibitions. And now I feel like in Ukraine we have this wine culture renaissance when we show more wines. We introduce wineries and the terroirs of Ukraine to the international public, and those are the important steps right now.
Yeah.
But not only us who are doing, of course, but there are lots of players in Ukraine, at least two national associations, and one, they try to focus on international activities. So we have a good team of to promote Ukrainian wines.
Yeah. It's, again, a fascinating country, I think, in terms of its wine history, and I'm sure we'll get into that as well. Maybe some future opportunities to and fairs, maybe where people can try Ukrainian wine. I mean, I know that recently at Provine there was a quite a prominent stand there as well, and I think this is something that certainly seems to capture people's attention and the captures the curiosity of people when they see this, because it's still not, or it's not yet, should we maybe say, so widely known or so widely consumed. So I think it's
we're getting there.
Absolutely. So brilliant. Let's I'm really keen to keep the focus on the travel awards though, and really go a little bit deeper there. So I think one of the analogies that I often use is a kind of a drone's eye view, and often I'm talking to winemakers and grape growers, and I'm asking for a drone's eye view of their property and what it kind of looks like. But we're obviously talking about something slightly more intangible here in terms of an award, in terms of a service. But I'll still use the same analogy though, and maybe ask you to as it exists today in April 2023, give us a sense of, from a high level, what are the awards, and maybe also a sense of the kind of key phases and stages in the awards life cycle as you go through the year.
According to the awards algorithm, we start the harvest in November when we open the registration form for new nominees. We, of course, fill in our website with profiles in chosen categories. And in March, we open the public voting stage. This is the most active period as it gives an informational occasion to nominees so they can engage with their loyal audience, their friends, but also attract new attention flows. In April, 5 best leaders, nominees with the highest amount of public votes proceed to the professional jury selection. So the Wine Travel Award Jury Committee evaluate each and every profile of those 5 leaders in each category according to the protocol. And in May, that's the time when we announce the final results. So it's more this way of the awards algorithm that we follow. It's interesting because I had an idea to compare the Wine Travel Awards to a bottle of wine. So I created another analogy. And I would compare, for example, the label that we often see at the bottle of wine with the ranking system that we have. So we provide all the necessary information about each and every nominee in 6 nominations and in 2 to 5 categories in each nomination. So this is kind of a basic information that we want to know where it is, what it proposes, what experiences, locations, audience, etc. And then if we look inside the bottle, we have wine, of course. And for us, it would symbolize 1 year work of the team done in order to provide an efficient and quality marketing and PR campaign for our nominees. So it includes print and digital and on-spot exposures. And then, of course, as often a bottle of wine unites people around it. and help so many splendid stories to be shared. The Wine Travel Awards create a sense of community, so all our nominees, partners, and sponsors, they were brought together in a progressive and innovative Wine Travel Awards community. So we help create also those bonds and connections within community, between the members of community, and we have lots of examples of such collaborations. Maybe we can discuss it later, or if you are interested.
No, absolutely. And I think, we'll maybe go step by step through that then, because I think it would be helpful to really kind of just list out what are the different categories, and I guess as well just give a sense of how these kind of fit together, and maybe a little bit why they were chosen, because I think they're quite interesting titles, and I think it's obviously a new concept, I think, that you're putting out there.
So we have 3 nominations for businesses and 3 nominations for wine personalities. Talking about businesses, we have the visiting card of the country, where usually wineries or wine brands are nominated. We have education in enotourism, so those are wine academies, wine schools, any educational institutions that provide courses in this industry, or any levels, diplomas, etc. We have also enogastronomic events. So they are wine events such as wine fairs, exhibitions, or any harvest celebrations can be nominated. If we talk about the personalities, we have wine and food influencer nomination, where wine judges, wine critics, wine writers, bloggers usually are nominated. We have an ambassador nomination. So those are ambassadors of wine brands, of wine roads, or any associations, consortiums, etc. And we have also wine guides, and here we have actually not only personalities but also tour operators who bring tourists to the places and are kind of providers of these wine tourism experiences.
Okay, and I think that's to me interesting, that you have an equal balance between the individual categories and the kind of institutional or business categories. I also find it quite interesting that I would imagine the terms that you've used there are purposely kept relatively broad, so that you get, I guess, more competition, I guess. But then also you have more inclusion from not being perhaps so specific, and so kind of so detailed, if you like, with setting out exactly the type of person who can enter that category. Maybe as well, one of the advantages of that is that you can get to quite a manageable number of categories. You can end up with 6 categories as opposed to many more, which I think you do end up with certain other awards.
Sure, we adapt them from year to year. So it's now currently we are at the 2nd edition. So we analyzed what worked well last year and what was missed. Maybe some nominees contacted us, but we didn't really know to which category we could put them. So this year, for example, the category of the region of the year appeared, where consortiums or regions can be nominated, as well as tour operators, because it was not really reflective to combine wine guides as personalities and tour operators as businesses and institutions. Let's say.
No, it completely makes sense, and I think the other element of the pre-work really that you sent over, which was really interesting to me, was that idea of creating a community because I'm of course not an award specialist, but I've been to award ceremonies. I've kind of followed the awards cycle, in many different industries, and it very much seems as though obviously things build up through the year to the announcement, and there's lots of work in the background in terms of the preparing the applications and the getting the evidence together and all of these types of things. But you used a word in describing the Wine Travel Awards, which was community, and it was community throughout the year. And you've already kind of alluded to that in terms of some of the examples. So I'm, definitely we would love to hear some of those examples, which I think, again, through example is the best way to kind of show what's different about these awards.
So the Wine Travel Awards Judges Committee consists of 12 professionals specialized in wine and spirits, tourism industry, marketing and communications. Some of great names such as Robert Joseph, Felicity Carter, Nina Basset, Dr. Ricardo Núñez, Stefan Bade, Irina Bystrycka, and many others, Sarah Abbott. So we are truly proud of our star judges committee, as we say. And all the judges are curious by their nature, of course, and they have a really high level of knowledge, and they try to keep an eye on our community members. So that helps them also maybe to collaborate with some nominees or some partners, and among such initiatives that we helped to forge, for example, Per Carlsson, the Wine Travel Award judge, together with his wife Britt Carlsson, who is a co-founder of BK Wine Tours, one of the world leading specialized wine tour operators. In one of their last trips to South America, they included a new winery, Bodega La Luz del Vino, which is nominated for the Wine Travel Awards. And it is also part of the Vinos de la Luz group of companies, which is a sponsor of the Wine Travel Awards. So they sponsored the wine and food influencer nomination for the second consecutive year. So all the wine writers, wine bloggers have an opportunity to join the awards free of charge, thanks to the Vinos de la Luz. And another example is Wines of Moldova, who sponsored nominations of wineries and tour operators from Moldova last year, together with Robert Joseph, invited the Shabo Family Winery, a Wine Travel Awards nominee, in the brand The Visiting Card of the Country, to be featured at the ASI bootcamp, where 50 young sommeliers from across the world were trained in Malaysia. And there are lots of other examples, but those, I think, the brightest one to demonstrate how it happens.
Amazing. I'm really excited to learn so much about, I think, the reach, really, of the awards. I think that sometimes we can hear about an award and maybe feel as though we've heard it all before, and we know exactly what it's about. But I think this has been really enlightening for me to kind of look behind and, think about, again, the network that's developed and has kind of coalesced, I want to say, around something that's virtual, because I think it's fascinating. All of the judges that you've spoken about there, all of the entrants and all of the examples of collaboration, so many of them are happening virtually. People are all in different countries, but it's that idea, really. I think that the idea of an awards, the idea of a team, and the idea of a mission. That's what's kind of bringing everybody together, which is, just, I think it's just, a huge well done to you and everyone that's involved there for bringing this to fruition, really.
Thank you. That's why initially we chose a hybrid format, to have this opportunity to see our community members personally, not only online.
Absolutely. And I think, sitting here as we are, beginning of April 2023, and given as well that, we're talking as the winner of the London Wine Fair prize draw that we put together for guaranteed exhibitors at the London Wine Fair 2023. You, I'm sure, have lots of really exciting activities and events, really, I think, to share that are going to be in person. So, obviously a lot of what you do takes place online, but take us inside, really, what's going to be happening at the London Wine Fair 2023 at your stand and potentially beyond.
So yes, our next special event will be happening at the London Wine Fair, traditionally already, because last year we did the ceremony there as well. So on Wednesday, 17th May, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., we will host the Wine Travel Awards final ceremony, where the names of winners of this year's awards will be announced. Obviously, the winners will be awarded with special prizes and trophies. So it's kind of a celebration of this year's awards. And the ceremony will include also a walk-around tasting of wines produced by our nominees. There will be also a special feature for the consortium de la Studio CG, our partner, and there will be a welcome drink from their part, and you will also have an opportunity to taste their wines on our stand, and also other wines from Wine Travel Awards nominees. So we will have also a stand activities during the 3 days of the exhibition of the fair. Of course, first of all, we invite everybody to come and join our celebration, to meet our nominees and to taste their products. But of course, we are also open for cooperations. So if somebody has an idea in their mind and would like to propose a cooperation opportunity, we are quite flexible and always open to new ideas and initiatives.
It's really exciting for me to hear that you've coming back again to the London Wine Fair, and that again. People can, discover who's won, and they can, engage with them, and as I say, all of those different activities that you've got planned there. So I think, that's really, I think an exciting event to kind of look forward to. You do also have an event in June as well. Maybe give us a sense of, what else is kind of on the horizon after the London Wine Fair.
Yes. So we have our event calendar and plan for the year. So obviously we started with the ProWine and iWine TC in March. Then we went to Vinitaly, and now we are looking forward to the London Wine Fair and also the Wine and Gourmet Taipei. This will be the first time that we cooperate with this exhibition in Taipei, and we are quite excited about this cooperation as well. And in June, we will have a special event happening at Vinexpo, Georgia, devoted to the celebration of our winners, community members. So this year, it seems like we will have a tour of celebration in different fairs, but why not? It's because we have lots of nominees from Georgia, and I think it's quite a logical step. And then in the second half of the year, we will go to Polish exhibitions and Expo Krakow, and Wine Expo Poland in Warsaw. We are going hopefully to cooperate with UNWTO Global Conference on Wine Tourism. And I guess those are the most important that are on the horizon.
Yeah, and I think it's really genuinely, exciting for me to hear about all of these different events as well, because I've been lucky enough to travel to some of the countries and some of the regions that you mentioned there, Armenia and Georgia, I guess most notably. But I think it yet again, it's almost like an education for me, because I've been mainly focused on the producer side of things, and I love that virtual travel, love that the ability to be transported through a glass of wine to just about anywhere in the world. But this is also, I think, fascinating as well. Just, the idea of looking at these different markets, I guess, also as consumers as well, and in their kind of in their own right. I think, maybe, sometimes we don't always appreciate that, that there are major events that take place in Poland, the major events that take place in Georgia, and I'm sure tons of others besides that. And it feels
the Balkan festival as well. We participated last year. We have also Wine and Spirits Ukraine, so our own exhibition. There are lots of them. Yeah,
it's such an interesting, I want to say, meeting point or melting pot, and again, I just think it's one of those things that just shows us how exciting wine is, and how it, I think, can continue to be exciting into the future, and hopefully keep bringing new people into wine, because I think it's just an amazing community, really. I want to say. So, final question, really, Oleksandra, in closing. Is really just to, obviously there's so much there that you've spoken about, but I'm curious, if you were, put on the spot, as I'm going to now, to kind of, I guess, draw out a theme or, an idea that you're kind of most looking forward to, and that's maybe motivating you to improve and to do bigger and better things. What would be the sort of big idea, the big theme that you'd like to share with the listeners?
I think our current goals is also to open less known destinations, regions and countries to the world, and not only regions themselves, but also personalities behind those regions, because we have a couple of sommeliers and wine educators from India, and it's also quite unknown destination so far, and we have some African sommelier that tries to pair wines with their national cuisine. So many breathtaking initiatives are in this world of wine, and I think one of our missions is to spread the word about them.
A huge thanks to today's guest, Oleksandra Hryhorieva of the Wine Travel Awards. Do be sure to visit winetravelawards.com, where you can learn more about the awards and find their main social media handles. If you're attending the London Wine Fair 2023 at any time between Monday 15th and Wednesday 17th of May, do be sure to visit their stand, location L49. Additionally, on Wednesday 17th of May between 10:30am and 12:30pm, in the Industry Briefing Room, you can attend the official Wine Travel Awards ceremony and walk around tasting. To register, just head to interpretingwine.com/WTA23 or visit the first link in the description below. And as ever, I'd love to have you following along with me on social media, where I'm at Interpreting Wine on Instagram and Facebook, and at Wine Podcast on Twitter. See you next time.